So this is actually neat. There's no one home. Um, and I'm on YouTube, right? So we'll go full screen. If it'll go. Here you go.
Hello, beautiful people. The title of this one is What and Who Are the Perps? Perpetrators.
He's talking, right?
The perpetrators of gang stalking. Who would want this job? A perpetrator is anyone who has been trained to harass,
Windows
maim,
open.
mob, or kill a targeted individual, either by direct or covert means,
Bluetooth speaker.
including electronical, biological, or
There's
accidental
Moses.
means as well. Career perps make a good living dealing in misery to hapless individuals. Perps usually don't know the victim personally, but they are supplied enough information from their handlers and local and sometimes even federal agencies to allow for a well-oiled campaign of gang stalking and harassment towards the targeted individual. How can a perp be identified? Mostly by their actions. If perps are doing...
So why I said the video and audio, I got it on Bluetooth speaker to let the whole neighborhood know. There you go. And I'm on YouTube. So there you go. There's other parts, but James Harkin knows.
their job, they will reveal themselves. They do this a number of ways. Number one, irrational hatred. Hatred of the target for no apparent or explainable reason. When pressed as to why they hate the target, they usually give a really irrational or illogical reason. Like, I don't like your luggage, or something like that. They obviously are not going to tell the target the real reason because this person is quite literally being paid to hate the target. It is that particular perp's job to hate the target. That is how they get their said compensation. This is often inconsequential, unless the perp has mutual friends with the target. The ultimate goal is to destroy the target's relationships and isolate the target from all friends, lovers, and family members. This is often successful in most cases because it is carried out slowly and very methodically. And I might add that they do a year of intel on you before they do this. So they know exactly who to approach, what to say, when they go overt on you. When they switch from a covert to an overt approach.
I'm saying this, I'm adding this video because this is what they're doing. They're going over on me again.
So they know exactly what buttons to push. I've talked about this.
Yep, they're pushing
Perps
buttons.
pretend to be going about their business and doing ordinary things. However, careful observation of said perps will reveal a different agenda. Perps follow the target into places of business and spend most of their time crowding the target's personal space. Often they don't even buy anything or transact anything at that said business. Perps follow the target out the door as they leave. Observation sometimes reveals they circle the block and come back into the establishment.
Circle the block. I've had plenty of block circlers over in White Center before I moved over to Yakima, Washington. And now, well, I'm on hush mode. And the only way to get this shit out is when these people that don't want me to do any videos leave. So, here you go. Making a video.
Because that establishment is their territory to surveil for that day. So they have different territories. And they're quite literally just passing the baton as you go about your day as a targeted individual. They're just passing the baton to each other. Each person has a mapped out area.
Look at how long this video is.
Targets in the harassment queue. You're one of many. You're not the only one.
One of many.
A loner perp has been in a vile business for so long, the less human they become. This is especially true of those who have made this their lifelong career. Career perps are required to do evil things to targets every day.
Every day.
And without feeling remorse, more importantly. this is a job requirement. This inevitably results in a cold, void, emotionless exterior lacking in compassion with no empathy for any human beings. The second way they show themselves is by hand signals. Perps use hand signals to communicate with each other, their handlers, and to point out where the target is and what they are doing. They often will stroke their chin or go like this, which means heads up, the target is in view, he's approaching. Thirdly, perps are always unnecessarily rude to targets. Perps will consistently display rude behavior directed towards targets, often during a street theater scenario. And what is street theater? It's
Street theater.
They're basically scripted scenarios that the United States government...
I want to hold off on what he says on street theater because I've experienced it so fucking much. Street theater is when something comes into script, a person, place, or thing comes into script, and you're like, what is that? Why do you gotta wait? And that person's like, well, I needed them. Or some shit, you know? I don't have the perfect means or place for it, but he's right. Listen. Him. James Harkin.
Sits down and collaborates with one another, you know, to see how they're going to get at you and invoke a response from you. So they might set up some elaborate scenario in a business, out in, you know. And what is street theater? It's they're basically scripted scenarios that the United States government... Perps will consistently display rude behavior directed towards targets, often during a street theater scenario. And what is street theater? It's they're basically scripted scenarios. And what is street theater? It's they're basically scripted scenarios that the United States government sits down and collaborates with one another, you know, to see how they're going to get at you and invoke a response from you. So they might set up some elaborate scenario in a business, out in public, on the road, etc. And their job is to, you know, be involved in that and just basically throw unnecessary rudeness towards you to get an emotional response from you, is what they want. This is a daily occurrence. Any restaurant, retail establishment, post office, doctor's office, or other place has its own corral of assigned perps to do the dirty work. Perps will crowd in line at cash registers and usually have a credit or debit card that doesn't work, a price that needs to be checked, or they engage the cashier in endless conversation. The result of this is a lot of wasted time intended to annoy the targeted individual. Who are the perpetrators? The people that apply for the job are often people that can't find a job elsewhere. They just don't have what it takes to succeed on their own. Perps don't have to be smart. Anyone can be a perp and can make easy money harassing others. They need to follow orders.
So anyone can be a perp. Even myself. This is 8 minutes. Anyone can be a perp. Did you just hear what he said? Anyone can be a perp, but I choose not to. I don't know.
Never admit the truth, though. Those are requirements. This type of perp does not usually advance, but will continue to... Those are requirements. They need to follow orders and never admit the truth, though. Those are requirements. This type of perp does not usually advance, but will continue to have steady employment for as long as the public, not victims of gang stalking, consider this harassment nothing but paranoid delusions reported by a few nut jobs with tinfoil hats. Perps who are recruited for the job sell their soul when they join this vast network of evil. Rich people jobs with tinfoil hats. Perps who are recruited for the job sell their soul when they join. Perps who are recruited for the job sell their soul when they join this vast network of evil. recruited for the job sell their soul when they join this vast network of evil. Who are recruited for the job sell their soul when they join this vast network.
One more time.
Perps who are recruited for the job sell their soul when they join this vast network of evil. Rich people, homeless people, middle class, and vagabonds alike are all recruited. Addicts, mentally disabled, alcoholics, young, old, geniuses, morons, people of any profession or religious faith are recruited. Anyone desiring a place in this dark madness may have one. The most pathetic and disappointing of all, however, are the pretended Christians who participate. There are quite a few of them, however, are the pretended Christians. The most pathetic and disappointing of all, however, are the pretended Christians who participate. Pathetic and disappointing of all, however, are the pretended Christians who participate. There are quite a few of them that join in the conspiracy, participate. And disappointing of all, however, are the pretended Christians who participate. There are quite a few of them that join the Christians who The most pathetic and disappointing of all, however, are the pretended The most pathetic and disappointing of all, however, are the pretended Christians. The most pathetic and disappointing of all, however, are the pretended Christians who The most pathetic and disappointing of all, however, are the pretended Christians. The most pathetic and disappointing of all, however, are the pretended Christians who participate.
Okay, you can see how I fucking did that. Bam! I say the least on those pathetic Christians that give in and gangstalk the masses.
There are quite a few of them that join in the conspiracy, who've been also tricked into joining. I have experienced harassment in churches. These Christians attend more perp meetings than church services, however. These frauds go about their days serving the dark side instead of doing what God would want them to do, which is peace and kindness to everybody on earth. Convinced they are God's chosen and have been given authority to harass and do horrible things to targets and ultimately decide if they will live or die. These perps mean well, I suppose, but will continue to do evil until they truly find God. The next group are the sadomasochistic types who get off on dealing misery. Many are adrenaline junkies, and the more they participate in this evil, the more they need to get their fix. It is like the ultimate high and power trip to them. These losers have found perpdom to be the fulfillment of a lifelong dream.
Oh, this is the part I wanted to upload. But you're gonna hear the whole fucking part. And him, James Harkin, he's telling the truth.
How else can anyone commit trespass, burglary, slander, vandalism, terrorism, drugging, rape, abduction, and even murder without being called to task? The power-hungry perps enjoy inflicting pain on the target, and they thrive off of their fear. These perps definitely have lifelong careers in perpdom and will continue to climb the ladder to be part of the management team, also known as handlers. Increasing members of targets have indicated or implied that their disgruntled ex-husbands or girlfriends began targeting them or placed them in the program for breaking up with them. Usually the harassment is done by a group of perps and not the actual disgruntled ex. But in my case, however, the girl I believe who is responsible for my targeting joined in with semi-trucks trying to run me off the snowy interstate during a blizzard in Castle Rock, Colorado. People are often duped into participating in perpdom. How is this done? A number of ways. Number one being lies. The newly recruited perp is told that the target is a drug dealer, terrorist, homosexual, socialist, communist, Jew, Muslim, etc. It's easy to find out the newly recruited perp's hot buttons, and given the endless technical and federal military-type surveillance they use on targeted individuals, they're even easier to find. These buttons are pushed in order to motivate them to participate in things that normally would be against their moral beliefs. The information about the target may not be given directly and is often inferred. Even so, this will work on most people on a subliminal level until finality in the perp's mind.
Now there's too much information anyways. So look. He's on YouTube. Who are the James Harkin? Look. I'm subscribed to him. I'm not even sure this will pick up on audio or whatever.
The target to them is trash and therefore does not deserve to live. Perps are brainwashed to believe that the end justifies the means. In their minds, they're a cleansing force ridding of society's undesirables. Perps are often coerced or threatened or even blackmailed into participating. Usually said threats are not direct and often implied. Perps are also known to infiltrate the workplace and sabotage targets' jobs and careers, often by blacklisting targets for future employment.
Happened to me.
This ensures that the target, no matter their qualifications or credentials, do not have an income and are pushed to force homelessness.
Happened to me.
Lastly, perps involved in criminal activities are threatened into participating. These perps may not want to participate, but are threatened with investigation or indictment. Oftentimes, they start out as informants and continue perpdom to expunge their record. Of course, these perps will never be free. If anyone tries to leave this evil network, they will be targeted themselves, or they will have an accident, or die of natural causes.
Don't give a fuck.
The last group that is recruited are the broken, targeted individuals who just aren't mentally strong enough to put up with the daily harassment. In their minds, it's easier to join evil than to fight against it. But they're dead wrong. By participating and turning coat, this evil grows stronger and kills even more innocent people the more who participate. The targets who gave up and turned perps themselves are truly the most lowly, despicable.
See, this is where it gets me. Because I have to be covert about my my videos. Now I'm on 17 minutes, right? I have to be covert about who listens to my videos. I'm living with people that don't approve of my theories. So therefore, I'm crazy, right? And I might get kicked out. I'm not a part of that shit. What he's talking about. Being overt and shit like that. I can tell you tons of videos where that's why I'm fucking blasting this shit overtly. Listen, it's not here. It's not coming from this. It's not coming from this. I'm letting the community know. Look.
Pieces of garbage on this planet. They have experienced the most horrible, dehumanizing acts of terrorism imaginable.
Thank you.
And then they turn around and do the same unthinkable things to fellow targeted individuals. My message to perps is this. If you think you're 007, you're not. Your handlers don't give a flying fuck about you. That's why they make you sign non-disclosure agreements and waivers. If you want adrenaline, go base jumping. Or better yet, jump off a fucking cliff.
Thank you.
Are the real homeland domestic terrorists, not us. Thank you for your time.
Would that not classify me as a non-perp? Because I'm not a fucking perp. And they've been trying to fucking classify me as a fucking perp. Okay? Where I live and shit like that. Let me put this fucking shit here. So I know where I live, and I know that fucking my next door neighbors are perps, right? I know this. I fucking know this, dude. That they're perps. Next door neighbors are perps, right? They want to start the barking dog. I got the barking dog. And shit. They want to classify me as a perp. I'm not a perp. I'm fucking sorry, dude. I'll show you some more, okay?
Or FFCHS. I have worked with the medical committee as well as with the board of directors. As a result, I've communicated with hundreds of targeted individuals. Additionally, I have worked with two other activist physicians on behalf of targeted individuals, Dr. John Hall and...
Because I've been called crazy over gang stalking. Sorry, I've been called crazy over fucking gang stalking. I'm fucking sorry, okay? That's bullshit. Leave that shit there.
Dr. Terry Robertson. I've also worked with Dr. Robert Duncan, a scientist turned whistleblower, who states that he's worked on some of the very weapon systems that are used in electronic harassment that many targeted individuals experience. My presentation today is entitled Targeted Individuals, Covert Repression in the 21st Century. To understand the targeted individual phenomenon, you need to understand several things about it. You need to understand what societal trends allow it to occur. You need to understand what the program is. You need to understand what the goals and purpose of the program are. You need to understand who it happens to. You need to understand where the program came from. And you need to understand the implications of the program. And what it means for the future. Finally, we'll take a look at what can be done about it. So here's what's going on right now in the United States. In short, we're seeing the emergence of a police and surveillance state. Examples. The president has a kill list. About once a week he sits down and decides who he's going to kill that week. And these executions are carried out with no due process. Under NDAA,
I'm going to kill it.
Authorization Act.
I'm going to kill it because this is too much information for people to convulse. I've been doing this for a minute and I've got so much fucking information, it's insane. I'm just a regular dude, right? You want to see my YouTube? Where's my YouTube? Here's my YouTube. There's my YouTube. Here's my YouTube. If you want to help me, cause I'm on the edge, dude. Help me. This is one of the videos that will help me. So, God bless. Have a good day.